All right, next, His Holiness said, "Now I would like to briefly talk about the Buddha and his noble teachings, the Dharma, from the perspective of a Buddhist or a Dharma teacher. First are the noble qualities of the Buddha. What noble qualities did our root teacher possess? He was a noble being endowed with perfect wisdom, perfect compassion, and perfect power. Regarding his noble qualities of wisdom, he was omniscient. He had unlimited knowledge. Specifically, he knew what would happen in the future, what was occurring at present, and what degree of suffering and happiness beings would experience in future lifetimes. All of these qualities have been clearly stated in the Buddhist scriptures. Because the Buddhist scriptures encompass everything, the sutras of the exoteric teachings, the tantras of the esoteric teachings, and all the treatises written by great masters explaining them. If we have the time to study them in detail, some things are very explicit, some are implicit. But everything that will happen in the future of the whole world is explained very clearly. Whether other religions have this, everyone can also examine for themselves. So sometimes it's not about boasting about how great we are. The principles explained in the Buddha's sutras and tantras, what they truly teach, what they're really like. Indeed, if we look at them very impartially, actually the wisdom of Buddhism is undeniably extraordinarily rich. Not only the Buddha himself, but many accomplished practitioners who followed his path have possessed such omniscient wisdom as well. For instance, in the land of Tibet, many great masters manifested, such as Ogyen Rinpoche Padmasambhava and Jetsun Milarepa, all of whom have proclaimed the various changes in the external world and the diverse suffering and happiness that sentient beings experience internally in their minds. They also carefully qualified this by reminding us that all these experiences are the manifestation of the karmic ripening of sentient beings. Indeed, in this regard, many people may not immediately accept it, but whether it's Guru Rinpoche or Milarepa or many others, the teachings spoken by great masters from India, Tibet, and the Han region, if we study these instructions, they are very meaningful. What the Buddha and other great masters taught can be confirmed by thoroughly examining the phenomenal world. Simply put, scientists have never delivered a precise description of the phenomena in the world that are perceived similarly or differently by the various beings. Scientists indeed haven't analyzed very accurately the shared and individual karmic manifestations of beings. They haven't analyzed them very precisely. As everyone knows, regarding suffering and happiness, good and bad, these aspects are not very clear. But we also can't say that Buddhism is great and science is not good. It's not like that. For example, science, even we Buddhists still need to understand it, because nowadays if we don't understand it, especially in this big data era, we Buddhists might truly not be able to keep up with this era. Especially now, technology is particularly advanced. ChatGPT and what they've developed, it changes every day. So if we Buddhists keep avoiding contact with it, it might indeed be quite difficult. I'm not worried though. For example, when we translate these things, some Dharma texts can't be uploaded right now, so perhaps temporarily it won't have a particularly big impact. But if it can really be applied, we Buddhists too, especially many of you have graduated from various universities. In that case, given the current situation, everyone should be quite clear about it. Everyone in the world will be using these tools. Just like Elon Musk, he invents something new, then invents another thing. Then many countries use his various technologies, including Starlink, to accomplish their own endeavors. So at this time, if we just keep our eyes closed reciting Avalokiteshvara's mantra, we probably won't be able to keep up. So some of our volunteers, on one hand, we help them cook and clean every day. These kinds of practical daily tasks, these are very important. And another thing, within our Sangha and among Buddhists, we should have a group of scientific workers with professional knowledge in this area who work on computers every day to see what's happening in the world and how Buddhism can, in the future, propagate the Dharma, understand the Dharma, and spread the Dharma. This is also necessary. Otherwise, in the past, our so-called propagation was taking a book to spread the teachings. But if this era completely changes in the future and becomes a completely different era, then our books may not be so useful. Just like now, if we can use computers and phones, it's still very helpful in certain ways. Much of the knowledge online is useful for people with wisdom. For people without wisdom, they've already sunk into it. It's quite pitiful. So I think those of us who have some knowledge in this area should also, just like countries, many countries now are investing massive funds in scientific and technological aspects. Some countries have a very low foundation, some are doing okay. Our community, relatively speaking, should be considered among Buddhist communities as having a group with a certain level of higher education. Indeed, wherever we've been in the past, we've been quite good. In that case, this knowledge, how about if we apply it to this? Of course, when using it, don't be too conservative. If you know a little bit, you don't want to share it with anyone, and then you use it for the 8 worldly concerns, doing things for fame and gain. That's not good. There are some who understand a little bit, but are particularly unwilling to share, and even things that everyone worked on together they're unwilling to share. This kind of ownership shouldn't be held in one's own hands. Including myself, such profound tantric teachings, I try to share them all with everyone as much as possible. Otherwise, life is limited. So I haven't kept things secret in this way. I hope many of our scientific workers here should also have a dedicated team in the future for researching big data, what we call big data. It's not that we're now looking at how private enterprises develop or finance and investment. We don't have that work, and it's not necessary. We have food and drink. As monastics and Buddhists, that's fine. But for example, the contents of the Tripitaka, now much of it can be extracted by ChatGPT. These stories, in what way can they be taught? In what way can they be made more accessible? Because the Chinese Tripitaka is quite difficult to understand. Even a very good story presented as an article can also be very good. As long as it doesn't become a cause of distraction, we should establish a group of scientific workers. These workers, it may not look like they can produce something every day, but the benefits in society, there are 2 types of benefits. One is called social benefit, and one is called economic benefit. What's economic benefit? How many people are staying in our hotel? Today's income. What's the annual income of the restaurant and Dharmapala? How much is submitted? How much is distributed to everyone? That's economic benefit. Then social benefit, you can't see it on the surface, including when I teach you every day and translate every day. It seems like you can't see anything, but your mind definitely changes. This is what we call the benefit of work on the inner level. So if we want to seek knowledge in the technological field, we need to follow the times and see what works best. I hope those who understand different languages or have professional knowledge in different technologies should also, although we're in a quiet place. On the computer we can see everything happening in the whole world. We can see it all. In that case, we also can't keep our eyes closed all the time. That would be like covering one's ears while stealing a bell, unnecessary. We still need to face reality. What the Buddha and other great masters taught can be confirmed by thoroughly examining the phenomenal world. Simply put, scientists have never delivered a precise description of the phenomena in the world that are perceived similarly or differently by the various beings. According to the Buddha and his followers, it is sentient beings, karma, and minds that are the source of all these phenomena. For example, some may feel fire is hot, some beings feel it is hot, while others feel it is cold, like in the cold and hot hells. Some regard fire as food, while some take it as a place to live. Similarly, for this planet Earth, some see it as square and some see it as spherical. Some see the sun revolving around the earth and some see exactly the opposite. There are various inconceivable perceptions that are merely caused by sentient beings' diverse karma. His Holiness generally, the old master was an old practitioner, but regarding many things more suitable for modern times, including the heliocentric and geocentric theories, he mentioned them briefly here. If I am to explain the diversity of the karmic manifestations of all the beings in today's world, only by relying on the Buddha's unmistakable words as valid logic can I give a satisfying answer. Otherwise, it is difficult to explain all these diversities and similarities. Regarding their insight into the future, the root teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, and all Tibetan accomplished masters who followed him, not only did they speak clearly about the present situation in the land of Tibet, predicting what would happen in the future, including the suffering and happiness that would be experienced. In addition, they precisely mentioned that a great number of Tibetan lamas would establish Dharma centers abroad, which has now come to pass, including in some of Guru Padmasambhava's prophecies, when iron birds fly in the sky, Guru Rinpoche's secret teachings will spread throughout the world. Many great masters will bring the treasures of the secret teachings to the Western world. There are many different prophecies. He was probably mainly talking about these things. Now they have all been confirmed. Just from this point alone, you can know that the Buddha and the great Buddhist masters were able to look into the future. I believe this is something not commonly seen among other religions in the world. This is mainly about the Buddha's wisdom. It seems later the Buddha's wisdom, his holiness, explained from another aspect. Here it's mainly about his foresight into the future. This is one aspect. Most fundamentally, what's explained in our Tripitaka about emptiness, about the classification of all phenomena, these aspects are extraordinarily inconceivable. Through this, we can also understand the Buddha's wisdom. Talking about the Buddha's compassion, our root teacher loved others far more than himself. In order to benefit sentient beings, not only did he repeatedly offer others his wealth and possessions without stinginess, but he also gave his physical body, such as his head, hands and feet, to others thousands of times. Out of great loving kindness and compassion, the Buddha always put greater importance on benefiting others than on himself. What the Buddha did is completely beneficial for sentient beings and never brings harm to them. That being the case, do you think the Buddha is worthy of being cherished by humanity? Please reflect deeply on this, because the spirit of the Buddha and his followers is completely reliable. This is truly very important. As Buddhists, can we ourselves also become like this? Whether it's weak beings or any kind of beings from now on, I will not harm any sentient being. I won't even damage a single pore. If such a mind arises in our mind stream, then you can say you've generated bodhicitta. The Buddha was truly like this. You can see it from his stories. Then, in terms of power, this was about the Buddha's compassion, the second quality. Now, talking about power, the Buddha and noble beings who follow his path were and are able to travel around every corner of the world during the duration of just a snap of the fingers. In the presence of fortunate beings, if needed, the Buddha could place the world and all its inhabitants into a mustard seed. Such is the inconceivable, miraculous power the Buddha possessed. Among all his great powers, the most important one was the power of teaching the authentic Dharma to sentient beings. Having this power to enable beings to attain liberation from the confused cycle of samsara, he transmitted an abundance of teachings. Some are able to eliminate diseases, some can prolong life and achieve prosperity, and some can improve their appearance, and so forth. If you practice any of them, you will experience the corresponding results, because what they probably emphasize most is curing illness, gaining wealth, and beautiful appearance. His Holiness didn't talk here about not falling into lower realms or attaining liberation. Actually, teaching different teachings to different beings is a kind of wisdom. The Buddha was endowed with numerous noble qualities, but the three great qualities of his wisdom, compassion and power, are the ones that bring cause for rejoicing. The logic is that no matter which religion an individual has founded, whether they themselves have qualities, is neither beneficial nor harmful to us. Whoever can bring us peace and happiness, then he or she is the one who deserves our love and devotion. Everyone knows that no matter what religion it is, let's not talk about certain things for now. Whether they have qualities themselves, let's not discuss that for now. The main thing is what they bring to us. As Buddhists, what does it bring to us? To our minds, in recognizing the nature of all phenomena, what does it bring to us? So many Buddhists who are truly studious are now very satisfied. Many people say, I've stayed at the academy for 2 or 3 years, but I've truly learned a certain amount of knowledge. There's been great progress. There's a saying for practitioners, superior ones make daily progress, medium ones make monthly progress, and inferior ones make yearly progress. The meaning is that if you're very good, you make progress every day. If you're medium, you make progress every month. If you're inferior, you should have progress every year. If you have none of these, then perhaps you're someone without any progress. So regarding Buddhism, it also says here that indeed each of us, actually people are like this too. Whether a person has qualities is not important. This teacher, whether they have qualities is not important, but what benefit does this teacher bring you? In terms of Dharma, have they truly brought you real benefit? If they haven't given you any benefit at all, then it doesn't mean much, but if they've truly given you some benefit, then you can't be ungrateful. You must be grateful and repay their kindness. If you want to benefit sentient beings, you must possess wisdom. Otherwise, a foolish one who knows nothing would certainly have no idea of where to start, even if this person wished to help the world. So wisdom is the first prerequisite. For this reason, I discussed the Buddha's noble quality of wisdom first. Even if you are very intelligent, if you harbor evil intentions towards sentient beings or bad behavior, inflict harm on them through bad behavior, or relentlessly fixate on making them unhappy, you cannot bring benefit to sentient beings, and your intelligence only becomes an extremely negative weapon that harms others. This is not the case with our teacher. The Buddha not only possessed wisdom, but was also replete with loving kindness and compassion. His loving kindness and compassion far exceeded the love of a mother for her only child. He loved and cared for all sentient beings equally with an impartial attitude. Having only wisdom and compassion is still not enough. You must have power. Without power, you can hardly accomplish anything. Imagine a wise old woman who doesn't have hands nor feet, and her beloved son is drowning in a river. The woman knows precisely that her son can be saved if she pulls him up with a rope. She could use her hands and a rope to save her son. Sadly, because she has neither hands nor feet, even though she has neither hands nor feet, she has no power and can do nothing. No matter how much the mother loves the son, she has no way to rescue him. In short, it is only the Buddha who possessed perfect wisdom, perfect compassion, and perfect power, while in comparison others only seem to have these qualities. This wisdom is omniscient. The compassion is... Regarding the Buddha, everyone should also think about it. Does the Buddha truly possess all three qualities of wisdom, compassion, and power? Do any other religions in the world have the Buddha's wisdom, the Buddha's compassion, whether the Buddha has the power to liberate you from samsara? This is probably the most crucial point for us. Our root teacher had extraordinarily unique characteristics compared with the founders of other religions in this world. Of course, it is not right if you just take and accept my words to be true without any analysis. Since there are many founding teachers of different religions in this world, I suggest you read their biographies, the words they spoke, and the books they wrote, and contemplate what is reasonable and what is not. You should not just listen to one person, since it may not bring you the correct facts. The above is a brief introduction to the Buddha. All right, we'll stop here. All right, now that His Holiness has finished this section, I hope everyone will review it a few more times. My reading may not have been very good, but consider this as an oral transmission for everyone. After this, please take time to read it on your own. There's much in it that deserves our deep reflection.
Kirgana jirano chupai chupun zolen droa droa bandar gara badna asadar da bandar gara badna asadar bandar gara badna asadar da